Hello, everybody. Welcome to Distilled, Brewed, and Reviewed. My name is John. We're in the world famous sipping den. Today I'm doing a coffee because every Sunday I post a coffee, and I do on this channel everything that has anything to do with coffee. It has to do anything that has anything to do with alcohol. Therefore, in order for us to find all this stuff, I put it into a playlist. On the playlist, in categories and subcategories to make it easy to find. And it's a fascinating playlist, and I challenge you to go see it. For example, off the top of my head, coffee, ways to make coffee. I have all different ways to make coffee. Coffee houses that I visited, flavored coffee, of course, regular coffee, espresso coffee, decaffeinated coffee, instant coffee, all playlists, so it's easy. And every video I do, I pin the first comment because it always has a link to whatever I'm reviewing. In this case, coffee, but Mexican coffee. And I'm going to do a whole playlist on Mexican coffee and all other countries, because what I did was I did research and found out in this case of Mexico, and I'm going to do these 7 weeks in a row, the most popular brands consumed in Mexico. All right, this happens to be number 6. I did number 7. Haven't posted anything yet, but I'm going to do every Sunday. I'm going to do 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Drum roll, the number 1 consumed coffee in Mexico. That one's going to surprise you a little bit. So for number 6, we have Café GARAT. There it is. Can you see it? It's kind of, I see the light shining off. It's silver and blue. It's a sharp looking package. Now, if you look at this side, it's written in Spanish, and this is English. This is from, happens to be grown in Mexico as well. Not all the coffees that are consumed in Mexico are grown in Mexico. They're just the number 1 sellers. This one is, the beans are grown in Mexico. And if you look at the side where it tells you some information on stuff and how to brew it, one side is in Spanish and one side is in English. Now, what does this say in English? Café GARAT is made from 100% mountain grown Arabica coffee sourced from select growers in the premier highland regions of Mexico: Chiapas, Veracruz, and Oaxaca. Our beans are extremely blended, expertly. It's hard to read the silver on the blue. Right? Expertly blended, roasted, and ground. And ground at source, yielding a perfect balance of flavor, aroma, and body. It tells you, how to make it, blah, 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 100% Arabica coffee. All right. What the hell does this smell like? Let's see here. Ooh. It smells rich. What the hell's that, man? I don't know. It just smells strong, rich, packed full of coffee flavor. It has an expiration date slapped on it. It says March 25th, 2024. Good year and a half from now. It won't be around by then. Here is what it looks like in the old cuparoni. The smell didn't have anything crazy as far as flavor or sweetness, or, I could pick out this, I could pick out that. It was just, if you stuck your nose in any fresh, not any, but any coffee that doesn't have any, that you're not picking out chalk. I wasn't picking out anything. Not picking out chalk. All I was picking out of this is just your typical coffee flavor, but very concentrated. All right. I say typical because everybody here who's ever smelled or drank coffee knows in general what coffee smells like. Sometimes we get into it and different blends have different things going on. It may in the taste, but in the smell, it had the overpowering smell of a rich, traditional smell of coffee. It's the best way. Same thing on the nose. Let's give it, I'm sure it's going to be the same thing on taste, but we'll try it. Made this bad boy hot. Now, things may vary as we drink these because age has to do with coffee. And these are all kind of fresh because I had to order these. But if something's fresh compared to old, big difference. Big difference. The other thing is how you make it. how strong you make it. It changes everything, doesn't it? But the underlying flavor will still be there, whether it's brewed really strong or a little weaker. It's still going to taste the same, just at a different level. Like no magic thing's going to pop in there, like, you know what I'm saying? And I tend to brew mine a little stronger, and I'll tell you why. And because I always add heavy whipping cream, and I don't want the cream to do the flavor. So generally I'll do about a tablespoon per 6 ounces. Now, on a fresh something you order and they roast the beans and send it right to you, that's going to be a strong cup. Believe me, you probably get a teaspoon, especially if you use the store-bought. It's been sitting around a while, but you got to play with it. You got to play with it a little bit. It's easy. You get the hang of it. All right, so typical taste, kind of falling right down the line on the smell. Now, sometimes people want to know, is it bitter? Is it acidic? This is coffee, but it is low in those two areas, okay, on the taste. It's not like real bitter, and it's not real acidic. And on the side of the tongue is where you get the acid, so I'm not getting much of that. Getting a little bitterness because it wouldn't be coffee without it, but nothing great. Now, this will knock down the bitterness even more. If you wanted to, you could put a pinch of salt. I once found salt infused with cocoa. No, that would be good. This was infused with espresso, and a little bit of that would be perfect for a coffee because you got the flavor and you knocked the bitterness right out of it. A little bit. Don't go crazy if you get that with the salt. All right, cheers, my friends. Oh, no, see, that stronger cup, that fresh coffee, this one here with the, traditional coffee smell on steroids really comes through. That cream. Now that cream added a nice mouthfeel. That cream added a little vanilla touch and a touch of sweetness, and it's heavy cream, but I always can detect that. Can you drink it black? Yeah, of course. There's nothing wrong with this coffee. I mean, this coffee is not real bitter and it's not real acidic, so yes, it would be a nice strong cup, black with nothing added. Once again, I know that light's kind of playing off this, but it's a beautiful color blue. I think it's really a shiny. I don't even know how to describe that color blue, but royal with the silver. It's nice. When you look at it, you don't get the glare, right? So it's a nice packaging. All right, the 6th most bought and consumed brand of coffee in Mexico. And stay tuned for 5, because 5's coming up next. And you got to wait a whole week. I do too.